Welcome to the Calling All Platforms Tech Podcast. I am Landon. I will be your host for today, and I'm here with Wes.
Why, hello.
And Caleb.
Howdy, howdy.
And we are going to try to cover all the stuff that happened this past week.
I don't think there was a lot.
Not really. I mean, there was a little bit of stuff out of Google, a little out of Apple, and then I don't even know if there's anything. I don't know if Microsoft did anything this past week.
I don't know. They went on vacation.
Probably.
They're like, you know what?
Disneyland, yeah, pretty much.
That's a good decision, though, right? Like,
That's
I'd
true.
be all right with that.
I mean, if you're going to go on vacation, why not Disneyland?
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah.
I need to work for Microsoft now. Disneyland.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Would that be like Lagoon for us
No.
I guess.
here in Utah?
I guess. I don't know. Lagoon's
I-
like nothing, but...
I think it would be more like
Well,
Disneyland
it's kind of
for
cool,
us.
but... yeah.
That's what I'm
Just
saying.
Well, if you think about it, because, I mean, Microsoft's in Washington.
Redmond,
yeah, just heading
So
south.
it's, I mean, about the same distance from
About-
where we are.
That's
It
what I'm
might
saying.
actually be further away. I don't know.
Maybe.
Just saying.
I don't know. Anyways, let's get back to tech news.
Let's
Tech
be
news.
clear. Microsoft did not actually go to Disneyland this past week. Just
Just a
We'll just get that out of
little
the way.
tangent.
No, yeah, they definitely did not go to Disneyland, unfortunately. Although I wish I could have been where they were. That would have
Yes.
been fun.
Who would have been?
Anyways, let's start off with some Google news. There's, like I said, very little Google news this week. The biggest thing I wanted to talk about today is a rumor that'll probably be announced this week at Google's I/O Developer Conference. Is Assistant is coming to iOS in a standalone app.
Oh.
And unfortunately for people outside of the U.S., it's coming only to the U.S. at launch. I'm assuming it'll come later this year to everywhere, probably with Android O
All
in the
right.
fall. So who knows? But what it is basically is just going to be kind of like what Assistant is in Google Allo, but just a standalone assistant by itself, kind of like what Cortana and Siri are already, and what Assistant is on an Android phone, I guess.
She's answering you, actually.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, that's funny. So,
You know what was really funny is you said her name and Siri came up on Wikipedia.
that's because I said Siri
You
after
said
Cortana.
Cortana and
Oh.
Siri, and that's, yep. So
Thanks.
Cortana was
Thanks,
all
Siri.
like, oh, you want to know about Siri? Okay.
Surprised she didn't say, what? What are you talking
How
about?
dare you?
Who is this Siri person you
Blasphemy!
speak of? No. So, if you're on an iPhone and you're curious about Google Assistant and you don't have Google Home or Google Allo, which I don't blame you, then this is coming. Like I said, it's not official. It'll probably be announced this week at Google I/O. I'm sure they will definitely make that something that is talked about in the keynote because it's kind of a big deal.
Yes.
So that's the one Google thing I have this week. And next week, you're going to be probably over Google-fied, whatever that word would be. It's going to be a...
Googled. Except Googled means something totally different, so...
Yeah.
Huh.
There's going to be a lot of Google news next week. I'll just warn you now.
Yeah.
Now on to some general tech news. Amazon is adding voice and video calling and messaging to the Amazon Echo devices. And the way this works is you can call or message other people that have Amazon Echoes. Or,
Interesting.
from what I understand, if they because Alexa is available on phones and other devices now, I think it'll work through that. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
What I know initially it's supposed to just work with Echo devices, but I think it's coming to the SDK that works on other devices. So, kind of a cool little feature. You know, if you don't want to grab your phone to message someone, if you know they have an Echo, you can just talk to Alexa and say, "Hey, message this person and tell them that they smell bad" or something like that. I don't know.
It's almost to a point of a expensive walkie-talkie.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Well, some walkie-talkies are more expensive.
That's
True.
true. Of course,
Is
those
that
don't
called a
require
CB
a
radio?
connection to the internet, and they have range of miles. So.
But this has unlimited range.
Yeah, but you have to be connected to the internet to get it.
True, but Why would someone have an Amazon Echo if they aren't connected to the internet? If
Because
they don't have internet access?
Yep, that's a really good
Because
question.
they
probably
got it.
wouldn't.
That's a really pointless Bluetooth speaker
No,
Yep.
if
no,
it
no.
doesn't have Alexa.
I got it. Without internet, but it'll still take pictures of you in
That's the
your
look.
closet. But you can still set it up that way.
That's true. That would be the only way that I'd ever want to use an Amazon Look.
Offline.
Without an
Offline,
internet
yes.
connection. Yeah, that's fair.
Although at that point you can't look at the pictures because it couldn't send to your phone. 'Cause
Totally
it doesn't
cool
have
that
a
I don't want
screen.
to see those pictures.
That's true. That's
Or
true.
anyone else to see those pictures on that
It's
matter.
just taking the pictures, caching them for a couple of minutes, and then disposing them, and they just vanish. And yeah, that's how pictures should be.
Wasn't that
I
how
like it.
Instagram was at the beginning? Or was that
Snapchat.
Snapchat?
Snapchat.
Snapchat is still
That's
like
still
that.
there.
Yeah.
That's
that
how
whole
Instagram
deal.
stories are.
Ah,
After 24 hours, it just is gone.
it's like poof.
Yeah.
All right.
Still a weird concept to me. Whatever.
So if you want a really high dollar walkie-talkie, Amazon
Exactly.
Echo.
And then another thing, like I mentioned, video calling. That's because they now have the Echo Show, which I thought was an odd name.
Yes.
Should have been called the Echo Touch. Would have made a lot more sense
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it has a 7-inch touchscreen, which is, I get why they're doing it. It's an ugly device.
Yeah.
It looks like it should have been made in the 90s
Yeah.
or 80s.
It looks like a digital photo frame.
It really, like a fat digital
Yeah,
photo frame.
an ugly one. Like
Yeah. With a speaker on the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
bad decisions were made.
Bad decisions. And it only
It's
has
okay.
a 5-megapixel camera,
Yeah.
which is also strange.
It kind of strikes me as being of the same caliber of product as whatever that smartphone the Fire Phone, was that what it was
Fire Phone?
called? Yeah, that thing was I don't even know what that was. It was a beautiful flower, too gorgeous for this world. Or
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know.
I messed around with one for a few
It
hours.
was
and
horrifying.
it was a really interesting device. It was definitely out there in the terms of like what they were doing with it, like the 3D screen stuff that they were working with, and the like 5 or 6 different cameras it had on the front. and
Yeah.
it was really weird. It was kind
Bizarre.
of, it was one of those things that's like cool to look at and play with for an hour, but that's about it.
But you'd never want to own
No,
it.
no.
Yeah.
That user interface was awful. I mean, it was worse than the Fire Tablet's user interface.
Yeah.
And I hate that interface.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep. So yeah,
awful.
that's kind of how this
looks.
show.
Yeah.
That how it looks to me. That's kind of what it seems like.
If for some reason you do want one, they are available to pre-order now, and they will ship on June 28th for $230. Which, again, if you really want something like this, buy a Fire tablet for $50
Yeah.
and a Bluetooth, speaker,
to
for
go with
$50.
it. Yep.
And you're saving a lot
Duct
of money.
tape them together. Done.
And it looks just as good.
Yep. In fact, depending on what kind of duct tape you get, because you could get like the pattern duct tape and make
Decorative,
it look
yeah.
better. There you go.
Mhm.
So
Very nice.
Amazon's R&D department really, kicking
bet
it
that's
through
a
the wall
prototype.
here.
I bet that's the prototype device.
Oh,
Is
it
just
probably was.
the Fire tablet duct taped to a speaker. Ready to go.
$2.99. $2.99. Let's do this.
Yeah. So that's a thing now. And then one cool thing I wanted to mention is Elon Musk a few months ago mentioned how they were working on making solar paneled basically shingles for
Yeah.
your roof. They come in a lot of different materials. Those are also now available for pre-order. And from everything I've read is they're just as affordable, if not more affordable, than your standard roofing shingles.
Right.
Well, some, obviously.
Right. Not asphalt
Like,
shingles.
yeah.
Asphalt
These are
shingles gonna be
ceramic.
super cheaper.
These
but-
are ceramic, but they're way more durable than your standard ceramic ones. And these also have what they're calling an infinite warranty. It says the lifetime of your house or infinity, whichever comes first. That's Elon
Well,
Musk's direct quote.
I plan for my
Wow.
house to last forever, so
I'm assuming most people probably do.
That's why I bought it. It was
Yeah.
it was in the contract.
Yeah, exactly.
Will last forever.
Yeah. So,
Take
I mean,
my
if I build a house or if I have to re-roof a house, I'm buying these.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Because you can't tell that they're solar panel type devices or shingles. They don't look like that
No.
unless you get them in the right light. you
Yeah.
can't tell at all.
Yep.
They just look like regular roof.
That's the really funny part is like they're like showing you the front of the tile, like just the standard like slate shaped ones.
Yeah.
And they're like showing you the front, and they're all like, "As you can see, this." I'm sitting there looking at it like, so is the whole thing a solar panel? Because that's kind of stupid. You're going to be covering half of it up every time you install a row of these things. But then I looked a little bit closer, and you could see when they turned it just so, and the light caught it. The solar panel's only on the bottom half of the thing.
The
I
part
was
that's not
like,
going to be covered.
whoa, you can like not even see that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's impressive.
They look really good.
Yeah.
And for how affordable they are, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they do this in hopes that you're also going to buy the Powerwall that
Yeah.
Tesla has, which is not cheap.
No.
I mean, for what it is, it's not bad because it can supply your house with power for up to a week, I think.
Yeah, it depends on your usage. But,
Yeah,
I
your
mean,
usage and
it's-
the size
it's
that you
pretty
get.
good. Yeah.
But I think they start at like $20,000.
Yeah, they can be pricey.
But I mean, if you're getting into the solar this stuff anyways, you need to get something like that. You need to
Yeah.
have a backup battery because, duh.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How awesome, though. I mean,
I know.
why not?
Yeah,
Like, go completely off the grid. Like that would just be amazing. Especially since I live in the middle of a town, like it would be kind of nice.
where power just goes off randomly.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Freaking.
Speaking of that, so the power went off like a couple weeks ago. Apparently,
Did it? Oh, I don't
no,
think
well,
it did at my house.
it did like half a block away from my house. Like half of my block was out. My house was fine. I didn't even know about it until a week later, and a good half the city was out.
Good grief.
Oh,
But
wow.
my house was fine.
And this is what happens when you have power lines that are actually run on power poles.
Yeah.
It's not good. Okay,
Yeah.
anyways.
Now that would be exciting though, and I've heard if you are still like on the grid, you could actually, if you have the power, you're getting a lot of power and you don't use it, you could actually sell it back.
You
to
sell
them.
it back to the city, and then when you're not generating enough power for your own needs, you pull it off of the grid.
Yeah.
And the money there kind of balances out so that it's, it evens out. And that's one of the ways you can go if you don't want to buy a power wall straight off.
Yeah,
I would much rather have the whole house backup battery system going and not be connected to the grid at all, just because, like, in my head, that's kind of the future of technology as far as power is concerned. Like, every house has its own power system that's completely self-contained and does not have to rely on anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Like,
yeah,
I would
that would
love
be
that.
nice.
So that's what I want, just because that's the way I see, the universe going.
Yeah.
Whether
Yes.
or not we're willing to go along with it.
Self-sufficient home sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep. So I'm pretty excited for it.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
Yep. And I just found one more thing I wanted to mention before we move on.
Oh.
Ooh, breaking news!
Well, not breaking, but I just remembered it basically.
Come on, just say it. Just say this just in or some cool tagline. Let's do it. Let's
Nope.
be official.
Anyways, Qualcomm has announced the new Snapdragon 660 and 630 chips.
This is correct.
And the benefit of these chips and any of the 600 series chips was always battery life. And that's one thing, like with the BlackBerry Key 1 that we talked about a couple weeks ago. It has the 625, and most phones that have these 600 series chips have really good battery life. Just doesn't matter what size battery they have. I mean, most of them have bigger batteries anyways, but like the BlackBerry Key 1 gets 2 days battery life, and that's partially because of this chip.
Yes.
The reason why it's interesting that you would think like the A35 would have better battery life, but the A35 focuses more on power and multitasking and stuff like that, whereas these focus more on the battery,
Right.
and they use older technology when it comes to the power and stuff like that. But yeah, so these are going to be in your mid-range phones coming in this year and beginning of next year. So I mean, honestly, if I could get a phone that had this chip and decent other specs and a good camera, that's the big thing. If I could get a phone, this chip and a really good camera at a price of like $450 to $500, that'd be really tempting. Because with easy a day or two of battery life,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, and with all of the premium phones now starting to at entry start pushing
$700,
$800,
yeah.
$900, like freak.
Yeah.
They're getting pricey. So it's nice that mid-range phones are improving. They're really nice phones now.
Yep.
So, yeah, sure, maybe you don't get the premium all aluminum body or something like that, but screw that. I get 2 days of battery life, and the thing only costs $500.
Yeah. Like I said, the downside to those phones generally is the camera is not as good. They're not bad. I mean, with what technology has come, how it's come nowadays.
But having experienced portrait mode on my phone, I don't think I'm ever going to go back.
Yeah.
A dual lens camera, that's for life, I think.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of sad, but...
So that was the last thing that I wanted to mention. So now we will move on to Apple news.
All right. So, first thing, want to get out of the way. All of you Apple device users out there, you can go ahead and start your week off by updating your operating system, because there's new security patches out for all of them.
Heck, if you're using Apple or Windows, update now.
Oh, especially Windows. Holy crap.
Yep.
Because this enormous ransomware thing that's happening.
This WannaCry virus makes you want to cry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It should be noted that it is not actually affecting most people in the United States. It has not been a big problem in the U.S. It's mostly Europe.
And from what I understand, as long as you're updated in the past month, you should be okay.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
But if you haven't updated in the past month,
Do
go
it.
right now and update
go
your
grab
device.
your updates. If you're still using like Windows XP or 7 or Vista or maybe even 8, honestly, like kind of don't. Maybe.
Don't?
Well, I wouldn't recommend using it anyways.
Yeah, I was
true.
gonna say,
8 and Vista are both painful to use. Windows XP has been unsupported for like 2 years now. Come on, people. Windows 7, I understand the argument for some people that are staying on Windows 7, but at the same time, if you are connected to the internet, you got to be wary of this security. And so some description. This is a ransomware thing. So what this does is it's a virus gets onto your computer, goes into your operating system, and starts encrypting everything on your hard drive. And it encrypts it with strong encryption that it's really difficult for anyone, like even security professionals, to break. And then it throws up a window that says your entire computer has been stolen, basically. You can't access any of your data, anything on it. If you want access to it, pay us money, and we'll give it back to you. So your options are, hopefully you have a backup from before when this happened, and you can just burn the entire hard drive to the ground, restore from backup, and keep going, or pay your money. That's basically it. And it's a really horrifying virus, and yeah, it's kind of scary. Right now, this particular attack isn't affecting a whole lot of people in the United States, but make sure that your OSs are up to date always, just so that, because Microsoft patched this out before the attack happened. It was, Microsoft has this fixed right now in Windows. But if you're not updating, then you may not have gotten the patch that has the fix in it. So always stay up to date with your security patches. And if you're using Apple devices, there's an update if you're on the latest operating system. So, okay, that's our weekly security tip. About every week. We've pretty much every week we say something about security.
It is that important.
Very.
It really is. Okay, so next, I'm going to talk about some rumors because, that's most of the Apple news cycle is people speculating about what Apple's going to do next. We've got some stuff, like mostly right now we're dealing with rumors for the Worldwide Developers Conference, or WWDC, that's coming up at the very beginning of June. That starts on the 5th, is going to be running through the 9th. So we've got a few things. Right now, Ming-Chi Kuo from KGI Securities, he's an analyst who is basically kind of the god of Apple rumors. Like, what he says almost always happens. He's really reliable. And he says that in addition to the Siri speaker that we've talked about before, we're also going to be seeing the 10.5-inch iPad that has been rumored in the past is going to be announced at WWDC. That's what he says. So who knows? But pretty good chance of it, actually, considering his track record. And another rumor that's coming for WWDC is that Amazon Prime Video is actually going to be made available for the Apple TV, and that they're going to be announcing that at WWDC as well, which is really kind of nice for, I guess, people that have Amazon Prime, because I don't. But it makes sense to me as being a platform that a lot of people use for movies that they're using to buy movies on and that kind of thing, that you can't get an app for it on the Apple TV.
You can't even buy the Apple TV through Amazon.
Right, you can't.
At the moment, but they're supposed to be re-adding it to the list because of this.
Yes. And, the idea was that Amazon wanted to use that service as a big push to get people to buy the Fire TV. instead of the Apple TV or even the Chromecast and stuff like that. So, they weren't selling them, they weren't putting their stuff on them, but I guess maybe that hasn't worked out for them, and they're now just more interested in, let's just get the money from the people watching our stuff, which makes sense, because Amazon has never made money selling hardware, like, ever.
That's why everything they sell is relatively cheap, except for the Echo Show.
Right. Yep. They sell cheap stuff, and then they sell you stuff through that stuff, which is how they actually make their money.
Yes.
So that's hopefully coming, and I think that it would make a lot of sense. And if you do use Amazon Prime or anything like that, then you may be able to hope as well for an Amazon Prime Music to be coming to the Apple TV and that kind of thing in the future. So hopefully that'll all be happening at WWDC. We'll find out here in a couple of weeks. Oh, what else? Also, okay, so this one is actually kind of some Windows news, but it came out of a thing that Windows definitely did instead of going to Disneyland this past week. Visual Studio, which is Microsoft's development environment for Windows and for, lots of other operating systems as well, has been available for the Mac for a few months as a beta. It's now officially out of beta, so you can use that thing, full Visual Studios, on Mac. I know some devs at work that are actually really pretty excited about that, just the prospect of it, because they use their PCs at work because they're doing Windows development, but at home they do development for a lot of other things, but they like Visual Studio as a good development environment. They like it, has good features, supports a lot of languages, yada, yada, yada. But they use Macs at home because they like Mac OS, they like the simplicity of the operating system, they like the power of Linux and the Unix-based kernel. So now they get the best of both worlds. So they seem pretty happy about it.
Hooray!
Also coming out of not Disneyland, iTunes is going to be available on the Windows Store instead of having to download it from Apple's website, which might actually make installing iTunes a little bit easier and keeping it up to date.
And it will be
Maybe.
Amazing, because one of the worst things iTunes does to PCs is it's worse than Norton Antivirus to stealing
the update
resources.
utility. Yes.
Stealing resources out of nowhere.
Yep.
It is ridiculous. But what makes it nice with this is it keeps it in its contained app. And it's here's iTunes, but it's not going to eat your entire system.
Let's be fair. It's not iTunes that's at fault. It's the Apple update utility, which has been, for Windows, essentially unchanged since 2003, basically.
Yep. Yes.
So, yeah, that needs to go. This will get rid of it. So that's nice. That's going to be coming.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I got to say a couple more things. I mean, that's the one of the two top apps used
on Windows,
on any platform.
Yeah.
And the other one is Chrome.
And Chrome.
Yep.
And
I mean, yes, it's if you use it. I mean, this will be great. It'll be you can sync up your iPhone, your iPod, everything, and it's going to work for you, and it's not going to destroy your computer.
Yeah, I see this.
Sorry,
I see this, and I hope that other developers see that Apple is doing this and think, oh, maybe this is something we should do. Because, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Windows 10s currently, but that's because there's not a lot in the Windows Store. But if Apple is doing this, like they are, and other developers see that and do start getting their apps in the Windows Store, that'll make things so much easier for Windows users.
Well,
because
Windows 10s users as well.
Well, yeah, with 10s and just Windows in general.
Right.
Because, like you said, it makes installing and deleting apps so much easier and updating and all this stuff.
Yes.
Because you don't have to go online, find it, go to some sketchy third-party download site that has 15 different ads that say download.
Yes.
But it's never the right button.
Oh my gosh.
And you probably download something you never want to look at or never want to download because it's going to destroy your computer.
That's the internet for you,
Yeah.
anyway.
So I really like this.
Yes.
I have a hard time seeing. Well, I say this, but I don't know if Google will put Chrome on the Windows Store. I could see them doing it just because Chrome is so popular, and because they want people using Chrome. The downside is on Windows 10s you can't change the default browser from Edge.
Right. It'll be interesting if they do that. I mean, there's possibility. I mean, look at what Microsoft is doing now.
Yeah.
Look at what Apple's doing with Microsoft.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I know with like Chromebooks and things like that. Chrome is just flawless. It doesn't eat the system. It doesn't do that. But on
everything
else,
it uses tons
destroys
of battery.
it.
Yeah.
And it's the same as we were talking with iTunes. But if they can do it this way, deal.
Yeah, exactly. And Microsoft has made it extremely easy for developers to port their apps to the Windows Store.
Yes,
and not take away any functionality, which is really nice.
Yeah. So it is exciting. Going back to iTunes, like it's just going to be that much easier because this is the thing. Windows realizes there's a lot of people that use the PC, but they also realize not everybody's using a Windows phone. They're using an Android.
Wait, what?
Or Whoa, now.
Not everybody. What?
Believe it or not, they have the data. But and so it's not trying to take a bite of the market there per se. It's more of, okay, here's all the users using this. Let's be a part of the market. Let's make this happen. And so they know that people have the PCs. For example, like you've got a laptop, you've got a PC, but it would be nice that, everybody uses a PC. Granted, more than the Mac, but obviously Mac has their argument, has everything, but most people will use a PC. But how nice would it be to be like, hey, I would just like my apps to work anywhere I go. And I love this initiative that Microsoft's doing. And we'll talk more about that, obviously, here in a little bit. But
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
All right. Okay, so the last piece, I just had one item of general tech news. The folks that held the patents on MP3 compression, their patents have expired. So the MP3 format is now no longer licensed. You don't have to have a license in order to use it. What does that mean for the world? Developers can now use the MP3 format without a license, which means that if you have like a piece of open source software that can export MP3s, you don't have to download a third-party plugin in order to export the MP3s like you used to have to do with Audacity and some other things like that. They can just bake it right into the app, and they don't have to pay a license to do that, which is like super cool. Would be way cooler if MP3 hadn't already been passed by like 4 or 5 different families of audio compression as far as quality and features is concerned. So, yeah.
You learned something new. I didn't know that was a... Okay.
Yeah, that's
cool. I didn't know that.
Be. Like, anytime you had a piece of software that could export MP3s, they could only do that because the developers of that software had paid a license to these people that held the patents for MP3s.
Yep.
And
I did not know that.
The apps that didn't do that, like Audacity, which is an open source program, which
you
don't have to pay money for.
It didn't originally.
But it makes you download a third-party library.
I didn't have to.
Oh, well, okay. It was doing that a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been recent that it's done this.
No, this is not very long that these have expired. But yeah, you'd have to download a third-party library in order to do these things, and that came with... It was a hassle. It was all it was. It was just annoying, but... So
there
now
was a time when a lot
of
of people, if they recorded stuff, iTunes had it built in, and a lot of people would use iTunes to make their stuff into MP3 format because it was there, and most people had iTunes anyways.
Yep.
But now, like you said, it's just
now anyone.
Hopefully,
can use
developers will see this and be like, "Oh, let's just do that."
Yeah, but at the same time, it really has been superseded by a lot of superior audio formats.
Definitely.
But yeah, whatever. It's still really popular. MP3 was the industry standard for many, many years. It's still really useful, and it's kind of ubiquitous. Everything plays MP3s. Like, your car stereo will play an MP3 CD if you've got a CD player. Like, it's really ubiquitous, and so it'll be around for years to come, and it's just nice that now anyone can use it however they want. So, I
thought it was kind of funny that all the headlines I saw said the creators of MP3 say MP3 is dead, when in reality it's not dead. It's maybe dead to them now because they're not making money off it anymore.
Like, we're not making any more money off of this, so it is dead.
They're probably just telling people that it's dead, so hopefully nobody will use it, but everyone still will.
Oh no, yeah, we'll be using MP3s for years.
Everyone knows what an MP3 is.
So. It's not dead. It's not going to die for a long time.
Yep. So yeah, so that's all the tech news that I had and all the Apple news. So gaming news? Want to do gaming news before we...
Let's do
gaming news before Disneyland.
Before Disneyland. All right. So I just had a couple of sales I wanted to mention that are happening in the PC gaming world right now. On the Humble store, they're doing some spring sales. And lots of like publisher-centric sales for folks like Bandai Namco and Activision and 2K Games and Bethesda and just like all of these big publishers. A whole lot of their games that are available on the Humble store are on sale right now. And that's just like loads of really popular titles from the past 5 and 6 years. So like not even really that old stuff. So definitely worth checking out. Humble, go to the Humble Bundle, humblebundle.org or com, I can't remember which it is. Click on the store tab, browse through the options, the stuff that they have there, and see if there's anything that interests you. Also for sale this week, Steam is offering sales on the Steam Link and the Steam controller. And if you're not aware of what those are, it's basically if you are a PC gamer, but you want to play video games in your living room, but your PC is not in your living room, and you don't want to either buy a console for your living room or build a PC for your living room like I did, you buy a Steam Link, hook it up to your network, and it will stream the games from your PC onto your TV in your living room. And then you can use the Steam controller to play them, and it's a controller that was designed with PC game controls in mind. And from what I understand, it does PC gaming pretty darn well. Right now, the Steam controller is 30% off, and the Steam Link is 60% off of its normal $50 price. It's like $16 or something like that, which is the cheapest that thing has ever been. And from what I understand, it is by far the best solution for streaming games inside of your house, just bar none. So if you're at all interested in that, definitely check it out. I have a PC in my living room, otherwise I would probably get one.
I'd say even if you're just mildly interested in that, do it. Because that cheap,
for that price,
why not?
Kind of hard to argue.
Plus, you get a controller.
Right. Well, the controller is 30% off of the $50, so that one's still like $34 or something like that.
It's
a
an
good
Xbox. I guess the standard controller obviously is an Xbox One controller for Windows that a lot of people use, and that one's like $50-$60.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're getting even more expensive.
I mean, at this price, if you can get the streaming and the controller for less than what the controller normally is,
yes, exactly.
Do it.
Yep.
Deal.
And that's kind of what it is. It's a really good deal, and it's going to allow you to be able to play your PC games in your living room without doing a whole lot. I mean, the biggest thing is if you can get a wired internet connection to your living room, to your TV, that's going to be the best.
Yes.
So that they're both wired on the same network, then you'll have very little lag. But from what I understand, even if you just have decently quick wireless, the lag is still pretty manageable for most types of games, with the possible exception of like really fast-paced first-person shooters. So it's definitely something like it's way cheaper than buying another PC or a game console and a whole bunch of additional games, that kind of thing. If you already have a PC with a bunch of games on it and you would also like to be able to play in a different room, on your couch, whatever, Steam Link and Steam Controller, definitely a really good option. And sure beats running like 40 feet of HDMI cables through your walls.
It's easier, that's for sure.
Yeah. The last thing, sale on Steam right now, they've got Deus Ex Mankind Divided and Doom, which are both really quite recent games. And from what I understand, at least, Doom is amazing, and I kind of really, really want it. Are both on sale for super cheap on Steam. So if you're at all interested in either of those, go give them a look.
And if you do get Doom, please type in IDKFA or IDDQD. You're welcome.
Does it kill you?
In awesome ways.
there was I can't remember what was it. It was like right after the original Doom came out. One of the very next game that id Software released, if you typed in IDDQD to get God mode out of the game, it was all like, you dirty cheater, and then killed you. Just like dead. And erased like all of your save games or something. Like, it did horrible things.
It's not to that extent, but it's pretty funny. So I would say that. I would, if you ever get Doom, and I haven't done it on the console. I don't think there's a
I don't know
coordination for it or what, but yeah, that'd be cool. Anyway, my turn.
Yes, that's it for me.
You guys excited for this?
On to Disneyland.
No.
Oh.
I have some gaming news.
Oh.
At least one. It's actually Minecraft news, and it
Fine.
goes on to the Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah.
Guess what? Minecraft on the Nintendo Switch is going to be available now. It's going to be first rolling out into America, obviously, and then before following in Europe and, Japan. What does this Minecraft offer that no other Minecraft does? Well, obviously, some Super Mario skins.
Nice.
And
yeah.
an entire Super Mario world that you can warp to.
Dude,
Nice.
What do you do?
that's cool.
You have to build a tube. Okay, not a tube, a pipe.
A pipe.
So
Build
I
a pipe
can't
in the ground.
remember if it's the cactus, but it's green. I watched a little video.
Yeah.
And you actually build it, and if you go on top of it, you hear chink, 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 and
That
you'll go
is
down. And then,
awesome.
let me get this. I got this here. So you can play with up to 8 other gamers online if everyone has their own Switch. You can also play up to 8 others locally as well.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So 16 total?
Jeez.
Isn't that amazing?
That is pretty awesome.
All right, now, what also does it come with? Super Mario Mashup Pack that provides a custom-crafted Mario-themed world with all the mushrooms, man-eating plants, and oversized plumbing you'd expect, and a texture pack to match as well. Meaning, a texture pack is like changing the sun, so the sun is actually like the Super Mario World 3 like sun, the one that would chase you. It's that. So the
That's
fire,
awesome.
when you set stuff on fire, it's the little fire guys with eyeballs. Not only that, when you go into the world, you'll be listening to one of 15 tracks from the Super Mario 64.
Nice.
Very cool.
How awesome, right? Yes, it's pretty cool. So you can go around doing this, and you throw, instead of snowballs, remember in Super Mario 2, it's eggs. There was that copy they did. But yeah, you throw eggs at each other. But you can have up to 40 different characters. Obviously, Princess Peach, Toad, Yoshi, all the Koopalings, Wario, and much more.
Wow.
This may make me go buy a
I was
Switch.
going to say, so this is obviously this is how you should be playing Minecraft if you're playing Minecraft.
Right? I just love how you can get to the world. It'll pre-render it for you, but you have to just build a pipe and then do.
Yep. That's fantastic.
That's so cool.
I love it.
Yes, and it'll run at 720p resolution at 60 frames per second across all modes, game types, to and on both device itself and on the television. Which, that was pretty cool.
That is
It
awesome.
makes me want to buy a Switch even more.
I know.
Yeah.
I've told my wife that. I'm like, gosh, the niche is such a, you don't go, for me, it's like the, I don't want to go out and game with people. I just want to be alone with it. It's like the anti-multiplayer, anti-social gaming device.
And yet it's very social.
It
gaming
is.
device.
It is.
Yep.
Because now with this Minecraft, I'm like, here's a picture I want to show you on that. But look at that. I know people at home can't see it, but if you have an opportunity,
That is amazing.
doesn't it look amazing? Look at that.
Everybody, you need to look this
I love
up
it.
because it just
I
looks
love it.
amazing.
Oh,
or if you have a Switch, go get this
Yes,
game.
go get it. It's absolutely awesome.
How much?
I'm looking. I'm sorry, I don't have that information.
$30, I'm guessing.
What good are you, anyways?
It's probably honestly, $10, $20. Well,
Yeah.
Nintendo, so $20.
Either
Yes.
way, go buy it.
Yes, please.
If I had a Switch, I would be downloading it now.
I want one so bad.
You
Anyway,
know, Mario Kart 8 was already making me want to Switch anyways.
Oh,
This
I
just
know.
kind of pushes it a little
Yeah.
further.
there's even more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and did you hear that the Legend of Zelda is now coming out with DLC?
Nice.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's cartridge based, and I don't know if I don't know, kind of cool.
Well, they have both the downloadable version and the cartridge.
Oh, I didn't know you can download it.
I thought you could. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
I thought most games on the Switch were both.
I have no idea.
Wow.
I thought it was
I
just a
thought.
cartridge.
I could be
don't
wrong.
know. I really don't know.
Crap.
This is coming
Research.
from the non-gamer.
Research. Okay,
But I
I will
don't-
do
I
it.
don't know.
I'll figure it out.
We will let you know.
Seriously. But anyway, that's it all I have for the gaming news on there. So
Awesome. Now on to what Microsoft was doing this past week.
apparently
Not going to Disneyland.
not going to Disneyland. Sorry, everyone. I know everyone was excited for this, but
Although, if a tech company had a big keynote at Disneyland, that would be awesome.
how awesome would that be?
Although the amphitheater there is not quite big enough.
No, it's quite small.
Yeah.
Maybe Epcot Center. Go over to Florida,
Dude,
right?
That would do it.
that would be awesome. Although that's a big travel for the tech companies. 'cause
You
they're all
can buy a
based on the
digital
West
copy
Coast.
of Breath of the Wild.
You can.
Yes.
This just in.
Told you. Because that was
Interesting.
one of the bigger selling points for the Switch, is that you could get cartridges and download stuff.
I must have missed that because my whole thing, that's what I hear. Everyone's like, yeah, it's a cartridge. So
Yeah.
that's interesting to know.
Well, it's a cartridge that tastes nasty too.
Apparently.
Okay, anyways.
On purpose.
Yes.
There's a reason
It was
for it.
intentional.
So
Don't
you
want
don't
kids swallowing
purposely
it.
eat these.
That is, wow.
Well, animals too. I
Yeah,
think that was
okay,
the
fair
big thing,
enough.
is so your animals
Fair
don't
enough.
eat the stuff.
Which brings up my next question now. Okay, so we're going to go back to the Switch. So with the Wii, that I can remember, when you would buy a digital copy of something, it is on that console only.
Yes.
Like tied to that console.
Yep.
And not your, like if I were to, that console died and I got another one, it's that
You
game's
buy
gone.
it again.
Yeah. Is that the same?
No.
I
From what
believe
I understand,
this links with your Nintendo
yes,
account.
you can link it with your Nintendo account, and your Nintendo account will register you own this thing. And then your Nintendo account also controls like how many devices you can be signed into at a time or something like that.
Okay.
So it like you can't just like sign into a million Switches and be
Right.
like, yes, everyone, free games for all.
I have beaten Nintendo.
Right. No, so it's kind of, I mean, okay, let's be honest. It's kind of the same way that like Microsoft and
Yeah.
Apple and Google have been doing things for the past, I don't know, decade.
Forever.
Well, I'm glad they've raised their bar for
Yes.
this. 'Cause
Yes.
buying Super Mario 3 again.
Yeah. So no, if your Switch kicks the bucket and you bought a whole bunch of digital games, you should be able to sign into your next Switch with your Nintendo account
Okay.
and still have all that stuff available.
See, when you said that, I was a little worried. I was like, yeah, I don't want to buy a
no,
Switch
it's-
anymore.
No. They've wised up. Hopefully.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay, whew. 'Cause- okay, anyway.
Hopefully it works well. That's
Right,
the other kicker.
yes.
Who knows?
I don't know. We don't, because we don't have
We
one.
don't have a Switch.
I want one. Before we get into Microsoft, I do want to say that I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Holy
this past
crap.
Thursday.
So did
you?
Caleb.
Most amazing movie ever. Okay, maybe not ever, but it's up there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. If I may, this isn't a big at all spoiler by all means, but I laughed so hard. So near the end, you know how Star-Lord he's got a mixtape or a Walkman. Well, through that, he loses it some way, so he doesn't have it. Well, he finds out that later someone retrieves this for him, a Zune.
Yes, they give him a Zune with
They
all
give
of his
him
tunes on it.
A Zune.
It's amazing.
It was amazing. Just the delivery of it, as well as his face, because he's all, he was in the '80s, and time's gone on, and that's all he knew about Earth. Well, they give him this Zune, and they tell him, they're like, yeah, this holds 100, 300 songs. In his face, he's like, it holds 300 songs.
Yeah, they're like, this is the latest thing everyone on Earth is using. And he hands it to him, and he turns around. It's one of the brown Zunes.
It's the
too.
big old
was
ugly
Zune,
brown.
Yes.
120. And I think,
Amazing.
I laughed so hard because I'm going to be honest, I was expecting an iPod.
An
or
iPod.
something. No, a
right.
Zune.
Like even an old iPod, but no. Oh, that was perfect.
It was awesome.
amazing.
I gotta say, that movie, is hilarious.
It is awesome.
It's kind of more of a comedy than it even is a superhero movie, to say nothing of a character drama or something like that. But it still is a superhero movie.
It is.
Has great action, has
Wonderful.
really good characters, a really well-structured story. Everything about it is good, and then the comedy is just over the top amazing. And so if you love comedies, you will love this movie. If you don't necessarily love comedies, but you're kind of, whatever, I don't care about comedies, you'll laugh really hard and still enjoy the rest
Yes.
of the movie. If you are a soulless automaton who has misplaced your sense of humor, you won't like this movie, so don't go see it. But I'm pretty sure that's the only segment of the population this movie will not appeal to.
It was
so good.
It was great, and it hit every note that I didn't even know needed to be hit.
Yep.
That's
Fantastic.
it was great. So,
Movie I watched this weekend.
ooh,
Well, rewatched Rogue One
did you?
because it's awesome.
Yes.
It's funny. I watched it with my wife, and she hadn't seen it before this, so that's one reason we watched it. But I didn't really think about this until she said it, but it makes a lot of sense. She was somewhat disappointed, and this shouldn't be a spoiler because if you haven't seen it yet, I'm sorry.
But just in case, spoiler alert.
It's
Skip ahead about
because
a
of
minute.
what the movie is. It shouldn't be a spoiler, but
Well, true.
Fair point.
everyone dies.
Yes.
And it's because none of those characters are in 4,
Any
5,
of
and
the
6.
other movies, yeah.
Minus 4 of the somewhat main characters in Rogue One.
Right.
Right.
But the majority of the main characters all die because obvious reasons.
I was thinking about it. Every character who has a speaking role in that movie who we have not already seen in other Star Wars movies died.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
Yep.
Like, without fail.
Even the stormtroopers that talk,
Yep.
they die.
Yep. and literally every character that speaks that survives, it's because you see them in episode 4.
Yep.
And then some of them die in episode 4.
Majority of them, yeah.
Yeah, like a good chunk of them. And so, I don't know, it was just,
Yes.
Yeah, they handled that well, I felt. And I shouldn't have been surprised when it ended the way that it did. And yet, at the same time, I was kind of like, oh, man.
Well, I didn't even really think about it until she mentioned that. And I was like, oh, yeah, they do. Well, duh.
Yeah.
They kind of have to.
Yep. The only thing that I was really disappointed with was K2SO dying. I was like, oh,
That's true.
man.
He was
really
great.
like everyone else. Kill him. I don't care. Him. Make him survive somehow. I want Alan Tudyk back in the Star Wars universe at some point in the future. Please.
He did very well.
Please, J.J.
He could,
Abrams,
just, with all his voices that he does
It's
do.
true.
He
Yeah.
could come back.
just cast him as a
something
different
else.
robot. I would be totally fine with that.
Yep.
True.
Anyways, that was
so
my little thing that I wanted to mention.
That's awesome. But since we're on this tangent, I gotta put this in there. If you enjoy the song off of Moana called "You're Welcome" by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, there is a parody on YouTube that is Luke Skywalker talking to not Kylo Ren, I was gonna say, but Rey, but singing that song to her, but as a parody.
Nice.
And it's as soon as she finds him, and it's amazing.
Speaking of that,
Oh, I knew I'd go down this rabbit hole.
another tangent.
man.
Well, first off, I want to mention that there are 2 characters in Rogue One that have talking roles that do not die.
Princess Leia.
No,
Ha!
the 2 that are in the cantina in Episode 4,
But we see them in episode 4.
but they don't die in Episode 4 either.
Well, true. That's true. I mean, neither does Leia or
I guess the
3PO
guy
or
does get his arm chopped off, but
That's true. And maybe he dies. We don't know.
that's true.
He might have bled to death right there on the cantina floor.
Yeah.
Well, that bartender was
guess-
just like, why are you making a mess on my floor, man?
that is kind of true. If you watch Robot Chicken Star Wars, it kind of shows him kind of dying.
Yeah. My arm's falling off. Okay.
Anyways, if you haven't seen Robot Chicken Star Wars, go see that also, because that's funny. Anyways,
We're going to hop out of this rabbit
no,
hole.
No. I was going to mention
okay.
something with the parody songs.
This is
Oh,
the
let's
bottom
do-
of the rabbit hole.
Here we
The
go.
bottom. This is the last thing. And then we'll get back to Disneyland. So that's going to have to be the episode title. Is Welcome to Disneyland or something, or Microsoft.
We're almost
and Disneyland.
there.
Anyways, we're almost to Disneyland. This is a long road trip. I saw a video that is Star Wars characters singing Smash Mouth's "You're a Rock Star" or
Yes,
Rock Star, whatever.
That was for May the 4th.
Yes,
saw,
and it
I
was
saw
amazing.
That was perfect.
I need to see this. I didn't see that.
Yes.
You ought to go Google it.
Yep.
After this episode.
It's
we record.
fantastic.
It's
I'm
really
going to.
well done too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that was not an amateur project. That
No,
was quality.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it goes from every Star Wars movie:
Oh yeah.
Rogue One, like Force Awakens,
Everything.
everything. There's bits and pieces from it all,
Okay, I'm
and
down.
it's amazing.
I'm going to check this out.
Okay, that was the end of this tangent. Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this. I am Nadella. Well, I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Oh.
Gosh.
Okay. Wow.
You can edit that out if you want, but
Nope, that's
Oh,
definitely
all right.
staying.
All right.
You know, immortalize that.
Immortalize. Put that on a soundboard, will you? Anyway,
I kind of think we have to now. Actually.
I'm down. Let's do this.
Okay.
Microsoft. Hey, these guys, we know them over in Washington. Seattle, I should say. Anyway, Microsoft. Let's start with this. They have announced a bunch of new features for Windows 10, the Fall Creators Update.
That was a real original name. Like I saw that one, I was all like, "Oh, okay."
Well, I think it has something to do with the
Oh.
fact that everything they announced for the creators update didn't come.
That's, I think, is. Hey, they backtracked really well, I think.
Now, I got to hand it to
At
them.
least it wasn't Creators Update 2.0.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I got to hand it to them. They didn't just push out stuff that was buggy and not ready.
Right. Which
so,
is awesome.
I mean, that's better than giving us everything they said that doesn't work.
Yes.
Webcams be blowing up,
Yeah.
Let's go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, it is a wonderful and creative name for the Creators Update, but there's actually a lot of stuff that's coming out, which is super exciting. So, overall, I watched everything. I tried to bring it in, and there is a lot of developer-type things that I feel like our audience at the moment, like if I were to go and spill on this, they'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
And I don't care.
And I don't care. So, to sum this up, they are basically what they're working on. They really released an update to the cloud. Now, what is the cloud that we've been talking about? It is your data that is stored on either a Microsoft OneDrive, what is it? iTunes, is it
iCloud.
iCloud. Okay,
Yeah.
I figure, but anyway.
It's
and then
pretty
Google's
easy.
cloud. So every one of these companies has a cloud, but Microsoft is really initiating this type of, they call AI with the cloud, artificial intelligence with the cloud. What does this mean for people that use Microsoft or any type of Microsoft product or software? It's just basically Microsoft making it seamless to use their products through whatever device you have. So meaning if you have a Windows 10 PC, it'll be easy for you to use that, and then say you decide to stop and you want to go and move to your phone, and say it's an iPhone and not a Windows phone, and you do use Google, say PowerPoint, for example, and you wanted to pick it up on the way, you're heading somewhere, but you still wanted to work on it, it'd be seamless for you to stop what you're doing on your PC, be able to pick it up right away on your phone, and do a lot of the exact same features and options that you would have on your Windows PC.
Yeah. I actually saw a little bit about this through the week, and it looked an awful lot like what Apple's been trying to do with their continuity features between the phone and the desktop and the tablets and all that stuff, except more cross-platform,
right?
As far as the feature set, but just the idea that like, oh, I'm doing this thing on my phone right here, but now I'm sitting down at my desk and I don't want to use this tiny 4-inch screen anymore, so I'm going to use my 27-inch screen, and it just pops up a little thing and you just click on it, and there you are, right where you were, and it's really nice. Like, it's really nice to be able to do that. It is kind of frustrating to occasionally just like, you know what, I'm on my phone, but now I'm sitting down at my PC and not my Mac.
Yeah.
But my Windows PC, wouldn't it be nice if I could also just do that here? Well, and you couldn't.
Well,
but now hopefully you will be able to.
But with that also, doesn't Apple's only work with Apple's software?
Yes.
Like GarageBand
Well,
and iMovie and stuff like that? Not...
There's an SDK for it, so developers can implement it if they want to.
Right.
And some have, and and it's really nice everywhere that you can use it. One of the biggest problems that Apple has with it is that the way they've gotten it so seamless and well integrated is by using like Bluetooth LE and ad hoc Wi-Fi and stuff like that to set up the network, and it makes the handoff really seamless, and it makes it kind of feel like magic. It also really, really drastically restricts the hardware you can use these features with.
Right.
And that can be kind of an issue. So I mean, I'm interested to see exactly how Microsoft implements this going forward, whether they're willing to trade some of that like crystal clear smoothness in favor of being able to support some older hardware or some different hardware sets and stuff like that.
Right.
Because, I mean, I'll be honest, it's such a convenient feature. I would be willing to trade off some of the slick polish that Apple has in order to have it supported by more hardware.
Right.
So,
and it seems like that's what they're doing. That's the big push is this. Now, the one thing that they're calling it the Microsoft Graph. And they brought up this big picture to show every device, whatever kind of Microsoft, not Microsoft alone hardware, but Microsoft software on all your devices is basically what it says, to work seamlessly wherever you are. So what they're using with this graph is to help support that is called timing, and that's the Apple thing that you were talking about earlier, or the Apple-like thing.
mm-hmm.
So timing basically works with Cortana. I turned her off so she doesn't actually come on. I can say her name now. I was like, I'm going to do that. Anyway, so it works a lot with Cortana. Cortana's kind of the big push with this. So she's the one that's going to notice. So one thing that they talked about, they're like, okay, so here you are on this PC, on this desktop PC. You're working, and it keeps a timeline of things that you've done for that. So I'll do that. So say you go out and you buy a brand new Surface tablet. You bring it in, and you sign into your account. Cortana will come on and be like, hey, you were just working on this PowerPoint. Do you want to continue where you left off? And you can hit it right there. She brings it up, boom, right where you left off.
Yeah.
And so, and obviously, I'm going to assume the one thing I wasn't clear or I did not catch was it's only certain programs, obviously.
Right,
So
yeah.
Office,
Yeah.
things like that, which makes sense for now. But later, I'm assuming it will, depending on the data they get, depending on everything, it'll push forward.
Yeah, and they'll be able to open up to other developers, third-party developers in the future, and let them get in there and play.
And that's the big thing. That's what they're wanting, and I think that's what they're pushing. They're like, hey, you can do this now.
Yeah,
Here
well,
you
and
go.
that's why I bring it up at Build, because that's what Build is.
Yeah. So that's what it is, a big thing in a nutshell of what Build was. It was, hey, this is what we're doing. We're making to where we have the artificial intelligence here in the cloud so that you can just be seamless on all your devices, whether it's an iPhone, Android, whatever tablet, whatever PC, you have those options. And obviously, bringing all those options, for starters, having the iTunes in the store, bringing iTunes in there, that's huge. That's huge for Microsoft, and that's huge for a lot of people that use PCs that want to sync their iPhones. And one interesting thing I did see is it's actually going to, there is an option in your settings on Windows 10 they're going to bring, is there's a phone setting. So you know how there's your updates, do your updates, your apps, all this stuff. There's actually going to be a phone, and then when you connect your phone, you can say, I want this phone, to be connected to my PC. So it has that continuity, continuity there. So I thought that's going to be cool because then you can give it more features. So that way, because there's some people that are like, okay, I don't mind some of these notifications, but all of them, I don't want them. So it does that. So that's one thing they were going to say. And obviously, you're going to get it in a lot of insider preview builds that are coming out that they want people to test, to give suggestions, to be like, hey, this works or this doesn't or whatever. So, and what's awesome is that's an insider. You can be in the insider program and not have a Windows phone. You can actually do it on your iPhone or your Android phone to do that. So you can test it and be like, hey, I actually like this being an insider for the app. So you can be like, yeah, I like this. And then you can be and let them know with your PC and sync it up and do all that.
So did they talk much about how they were going to implement it on the other platforms? Like, is it the kind of thing that I'm going to have to install an app on my phone in order to get this to work? Or is it the kind of thing that I'm going to have to like pair my phone with the PC to start it up somehow? Or
both? They mentioned both.
Okay.
So like I said, they will have the option of saying, okay, here's my iPhone, and I want my iPhone to be able to connect to this is the kind of your way of saying, hey, anything that I'm running on this computer, I would like my phone to talk to as well. It just helps that, as well as your apps. Obviously you can sign into your Office and use your Office apps that way. Well.
So I guess one of my biggest complaints with the implementation that they have in iOS and on the Mac is that it is program-centric instead of like file-type-centric or something like that. So if I've got like a docx file or something open, I can open and edit it in, like if I've got it open in Pages on my phone, then I can open it in Pages on my PC. But if I want to say open it in LibreOffice, it doesn't really give me the option to do that.
Gotcha.
And I would love to have more of a file-type thing where it's all like, oh, you were just working on this file, and if you click on it, instead of just opening in the program I was using, it opens it in whatever the default program is for that particular platform.
Gotcha.
So that if I'm editing a Word document on my Mac and I want to pick it up on my phone, I could, pull it up in Pages because I don't have Word installed on my phone because I don't really like the phone version of Word. Tablet version's really good, but I don't know, the phone version, screen's too small. Just doesn't work.
Gotcha.
Anyways, so I would love to see something like that. Did they really talk about that much at all, or
the thing that
we're just going to have to wait and see?
Basically, if they didn't really talk about it, but the idea I got is, hey, if you're going to use the Microsoft stuff, we just want to make sure your Microsoft stuff works.
Okay.
So
it's going to be focused more on that. Then.
It probably.
I don't see that happening just because of having to extract files. Because when you switch from one format to another, you have to extract it or different things like that, and it would be kind of, I would think, more difficult cross-device. It's easy on single device going from one thing to another,
right?
But I think doing cross-device, doing that would be tricky. I'm sure they could do it, but that's probably and where they want you to use their stuff. Obviously, it's
right. Well, and
it's
that's
not going to be,
and they have the control over their stuff. They want to make sure, and that's what I was kind of saying. They were more focused on using Microsoft software.
Right.
They didn't
just getting that to work well. Yeah,
and that's what they want.
That makes sense.
And so.
That makes sense. It's kind of like it's the golden calf. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's ever going to happen, but Boy,
there's a
wouldn't
lot
that
of
be
stuff
amazing?
happening, so we'll definitely
Yeah.
see
Yep.
on there. But that's the basis. But one big thing that I thought was really cool that they're coming up was a new creative app on here. Excuse me, I apologize. Let's see. The new creative app that they're looking to bring on here, I had it right here, is called Story Remix. I thought it was really interesting. So, at first it reminded me of Facebook on how on Facebook they will compile your photos and everything and be like, hey, this is what you did for the year, and then they make a movie out of it.
Everyone's is the exact same
Yeah.
with your own pictures. Yeah.
But what's really cool about this Story Remix, one thing is really cool, is so it'll go through and it uses the Microsoft Graph and it transforms your photos as well as your videos for you. So it'll put things together for you if you want like a random, like, hey, I just want to try it out. But what's also cool is in there you can add augmented reality things. There's a store for it. So like one big thing that they did is they were talking about as the sequence was going through is they're like, hey, here's a video that we have here of a girl at a soccer game, and she's at her soccer game. Well, what's also cool about this is it also pulled, if anyone else posted something in this, say like you had a bunch of soccer people that uploaded the video, it'll also use those videos too that were at the same game, and it'll put it together. But then you can also be like, oh, what would be really fun is her to score this goal. Why don't I put a fireball on the soccer ball so when she kicks it, it shows a fireball that goes right into there. So what you do is, what's cool is they call it anchoring. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to anchor this 3D object to this object that's moving or whatever, and so it looks seamless. So it's that easy. It's click, click, move it to this, and boom, it hit the goal, and it was just a fireball. It was pretty cool. And then people were like, oh, what if I wanted to put something on there to where someone was videotaping the girl, and she came around, and all of a sudden she did some special move and then went with the soccer ball and went around somebody. So they're like, oh, I want to put some words. They put see ya and then anchored it to the girl, and it just followed her all the way through the video. And so you can do some editing and things like that, and I thought that was really cool. So there's a lot of things you can add to. You can change. You can mess with sounds and things and just more creative stuff that they're bringing into this. So, and that's I guess now, if we were talking, I believe before the show we were talking. That's the same thing as what Apple had done, like with I want to say it was a lot similar to. I can't remember if it was Apple we were talking about earlier, but that does some editing, just quick editing if you wanted to for videos or.
Well, I mean, Apple has iMovie, and they now have Clips on the iPhone.
Yeah.
It's not quite as intense.
No.
At least Clips is definitely not quite as intense as this is.
No, Clips is, it's very straightforward, very simple.
iMovie is similar, but
More manual.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to, like, put an effect into iMovie or something like that and have it move around, you'd have to, there's some work involved on your end in order to get that to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure because of this, Apple might update iMovie
It's
and
true.
make it a little
Right.
easier, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Apple loves doing that.
well,
Oh,
true.
somebody else is doing a thing. Let's do it.
Well, I know that there was something like that gives you, but obviously Microsoft has broadened this because you can put augmented stuff. You can create your own stuff and
Right.
put it in there to do an animation, some sort of animation on there. So it seems really cool. And if you're just a creator that or just want to mess with stuff or add videos, this is a great option for you too. And obviously this is coming out during the fall creator update, one of the big features that they're talking about.
Yeah.
And which is cool. I mean,
It's just it's really interesting to me because one of the things, like, from my own childhood, I have friends and stuff that have, like, all of these great little videos of their childhood that are like slideshows of pictures or little video clips that have been put to music and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, little home videos, but much higher production quality than any of my home videos that we had that were
Right.
recorded on a VHS and there are garbage. And it's without fail, any of those kids, like, I talked to them, their parents had a Mac. Their parents had iMovie back in the day and GarageBand and iDVD, and they were making home videos because it was so easy to do.
Yep.
And that was, like, always so frustrating to me that, like, my parents had a Windows PC, and so we never had any of those fun, cheap tools available to us and that kind of thing. And so it's good to see that kind of thing coming to, I mean, there are a lot of apps that give you that kind of functionality on phones.
Right.
And then obviously Apple's still delivering a lot of those tools, and then to have it baked into Windows as well, so that this stuff is just available.
Yep.
like for people to use. That's easy. It's straightforward. You can use it to make these cool little videos and kind of, form these little memories so that you can just go back, watch this video, and be like, oh, haha, that was fun.
Yeah.
And help our failing memories, because let's be honest, there's, we're humans. We forget stuff really easily. So,
Yeah.
But it just seems fun to mess with, to look at, and it just seemed very simple.
Exactly.
So,
just making it easy for people to use is key.
Which
that's good.
I have a question. So obviously this is coming to Windows 10 in the Fall Creators Update. Do you think that there's a chance they could make this into a mobile app? Because I could see it with how easy and functional it is to do on a computer. I could see this being something that would be really nice to have on a phone to make small little, kind of like what Clips is for iPhone,
right?
But with some extra features and stuff. But for Android and iOS, because I think I see this, and I see most people obviously do this stuff on their phones. It's not it's not hard, but it's not something that people think about, moving the video to their computers and then doing stuff like this on the PC. So if they were to make this into a mobile app, I could see more people using it.
Yes.
Though if Microsoft were to introduce something that, similar to what PhotoStream used to be in Apple's ecosystem, where all of your photos and video and stuff just automatically transfers over to your PC without you having to do anything, then it might happen more often.
AKA Google Photos?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Except they don't really have a desktop client.
Yeah,
I mean, they do. It syncs what's on your desktop up, but if you want to download to your desktop, you have to go to the browser.
That's true.
I know that Microsoft is they're syncing a lot of their apps too. So like my Photos app that's on my Windows phone is basically the same app that's on my desktop.
Yeah.
And everything talks to it. I mean, my OneDrive, everything that it talks. So, yes.
That's why
it would be coming to that. Obviously, it would be for devices that could run it. Older probably wouldn't work as well.
Right.
But they'll definitely want to push that. But yes, I would see that. The one on there, that's what they're saying. It just says they're trying to push this forward to just a new creative way for your photos and your apps. And so, I mean, and obviously they know, people are going to be more on their iPhones, take an app, do something funny, and then do it there. So obviously, yeah.
Cool.
So, I can see that coming to, and it's an app is what it is. So, and that's the one thing that they're going to push for. Obviously, they're getting all their apps. They're trying to push it to this market that they haven't tapped into yet, the Apple market as well as the Android market. And what better way to be like, hey, here you go, try it.
Yeah. Yep.
Get the data back and suggestions, and that's the best way to push forward in it. So
cool.
It'd be so awesome.
Yep.
It was pretty cool. If you ever have time to do that, go take a look at it and see what it's about, because it's a pretty cool demonstration to show and to mess with. And it's like, that is actually really cool. I've heard that a lot of people that do, and this is coming from stuff I've read as well as other podcasts that I've listened to, is some people that have talked about this. They're like, oh yeah, the easy, simplistic stuff that they're doing, it actually takes a lot more time to do with other editing things. And so a lot of people are like, I will actually use that, like, when that comes out, because to tell some, like, words to follow with someone actually takes more time.
That can be pretty, it's an effect. Like, in a lot of cases, if you want to do that well, you've got to download, like, Adobe After Effects or something like that, which is professional level freaking software. And, like, most other tools won't really handle it. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be like, I wouldn't expect to be able to pick this up and look like a professional video editor just off the bat, because that's my skill set really more at fault than anything else. And obviously, people pay hundreds of dollars for pieces of software that'll give that to them. But if it gets anything even close to that for just the average schmo, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And this is kind of their replacement for taking away Movie Maker.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
Which is cool. I mean, Movie Maker's how old?
Yes. Has not been really changed, and oh my gosh, got left behind ages ago.
So yeah. So
that was a good call.
And so what Microsoft, what they've called their system for this whole thing of cross-platform to make everything, they're calling it their Fluent system. So if that's what you hear, Microsoft's Fluent system, that's what it is. They're just trying to make everything fluent. Whatever device you're on, whatever you use Microsoft software, they're going to try and make it work. So, and that's the big part that they were talking about, the big app that they're like, yeah, let's make that happen. So, which it also includes the timeline that we mentioned before. That hey, because Cortana will come up and she'll be like, "Oh, you were," and it'll actually. The movie showed that she came up in the bottom corner where notifications normally is on a PC, and she was like, "Hey, I just noticed you were doing these 3 things." Obviously, you could probably enlarge it and be like, "You were doing all these 10 things," but it showed 3, showed a PowerPoint, a web, something in Chrome, and then or Edge, and then something else. And you're like, "Oh yeah, that one," and then it brought it right up, did everything. So it seemed pretty seamless on there. So I thought it was pretty cool. And they also call that pick up where you left off. That's kind of the obvious. But that's all. It says that's compatible for Windows 10, Android, and iOS. So, thought it was cool. And let's see, Clipboard. They also have cross-platform Clipboard.
Yeah.
So I don't know
with
if
a
that's...
catch.
Oh,
Is there a
You
catch?
have to use, what's the keyboard? There's a specific keyboard app that you have to use that Windows now owns.
That makes sense, actually.
What's it called?
That makes sense.
It's not. I knew this. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Swift key.
Swift key.
The Swift key.
You have to use
Okay.
it, which is available on Android and iOS,
Yep.
and it's a fantastic keyboard. A lot of people already use it, which is probably why they're doing it this way.
Yeah. Well, and that's a really good way to do it, too, because if you're
Right.
using that keyboard, it's in all of the apps. They
Exactly.
don't have to do any special integration and that kind of thing.
Right. Like, I get why they do it this way, because by using a third-party keyboard, you can, like, all these keyboards have, you can set a dictionary that you have, and
Right.
that's how, and it syncs with their software, so that's how it would work. Whereas if you wanted to use the system keyboard, this would have to be baked into the system.
Correct.
Which,
Yep.
well, obviously Windows can't do.
Yep.
So, I mean, I get why they do it. It's just, if you want to use this feature, if you don't already use SwiftKey, you're going to have to download it, which,
Yeah.
again, is not necessarily a bad thing because it is a great keyboard, and a lot of people
Right.
really like it.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it might be worth trying out the keyboard. Like, if you're using an iPhone and a Windows, or an Android phone and a Windows PC, this is definitely something I would check out. Because Apple implemented this last year between iOS and macOS, and it's the best thing in the world. It seems really so just stupid and so simple. Just like, yes, I hit Control-C on my computer, and then I can paste whatever that was onto my phone.
It's
just
amazing.
dead simple, and it seems really stupid that we didn't have this before. But it is, it's so nice.
But it is. It's,
And it's just simple. If you've got like an Android phone or an iPhone or something and you're using a Windows PC as your main desktop, I would download the SwiftKey keyboard and give it a shot just so that you can use this feature because it's that good. It really does make a big difference.
Yeah, and like Caleb has said, it's just you use a PC, at home, and you've got an iPhone. I mean, what better? You're like, I just want to copy this address real fast instead of typing it. Just done.
Yep. So good.
It's nice. The next thing I wanted to mention, they talked about, they had a couple other apps that were coming. Obviously, we talked about iTunes that's coming. That we talked earlier that Spotify's coming to the Windows Store. They also had said that Autodesk Stingray is coming as well. That's big to the Windows Store, as well as SAP Digital Boardroom.
Boardroom.
Yeah. So
Windows is still primarily used in offices, I guess, is what we should. As much as they are pushing for home users and for gamers and for creatives all over the world, they still also have to make an operating system for office junkies as well.
But also,
there you go.
On top of that, for all those people that you want to use Linux or mess with Linux, building on the beta support for Bash on, I'm going to say this correctly here, Ubuntu. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Ubuntu for Windows is the current versions of Windows 10. The False Creator Update will bring SUSE Linux and Fedora Linux into the fold.
Nice.
On top of there. So all those Linux people that want to program for it or use it, there you go.
There's still kind of fundamental limitations because it's not the command line. It's a Bash plugin for the command line. And so there's some incompatibility. But that being said, if the main reason you've been avoiding Windows is because Bash doesn't exist on it, it does now.
There you go.
There. You can use it. It actually has a pretty robust command line now in Windows 10, and if you're in love with the command line, then
have fun.
They're bringing it. They're bringing it to you. So it won't be. Honestly, it seems like for the most part, that's kind of just like Microsoft going, okay, here's this nice thing. Because all the people I know that use Bash in Windows are forced to use Windows because of work.
Right.
Like, they don't really have another choice. They can't choose to use Linux. That's not an option. And so this is, they were going to be using Windows 10 regardless. Microsoft was going to be making that money regardless. And so this is kind of just like a nice, like, here's a bone. Here's a command line that you're going to like a lot better than the one that we used to have that was based on DOS. And just, here's Bash. Like, and I don't know. It just seems like it's actually like, good guy Windows thing,
Yep.
Like, it's
Good guy Windows.
here you go. Here's a
That's
good command
awesome.
line.
Here's a bone. But yeah, there you go. And another thing they also had talked about was kind of the mixed reality by the Fall Creators Update ships in September. Is kind of what they were saying. Microsoft's hardware partners will finally be ready to ship Windows mixed reality headsets and motion controllers. They did show some of those. They looked kind of interesting. They didn't. The couple things that I saw, they just kind of showed pictures of them. They didn't really be like, oh, look, this is what it could do. But I didn't. There may have been, but I didn't fully.
Right.
But that with excuse me, with the Acer headset that they were pushing for, they said they both will sell both for $300 or both a $300 headset and a $400 bundle that will also include the motion controllers.
So that's like, I don't know.
Half the price of
Well, right.
Vive or
so now I'm
Oculus.
sitting there in my head like, is this only going to be good for augmented reality, or am I going to be able to play 3D games on it as well?
This is
like,
mixed.
This does both virtual and augmented reality,
Okay.
right?
Both Windows
Right.
mixed reality headsets. Yep.
Okay.
So are basically VR with built-in marker sensor technology,
Okay.
meaning that they are standalone and you won't need to install sensors in the room.
Right. Which is important.
Yeah.
I mean, as cool as the Vive is, yeah, that's kind of a
Now, I would assume that at the price point and because of what it is, the Vive probably will work better.
yeah.
But this is a much cheaper option
Exactly.
because you don't have to have a $700-800 plus computer to go with it,
Yeah.
and then pay an additional $800 for the headset and the cameras to go with it. This
Yep.
is $300, $400 with the controllers, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, the biggest reason that you pay so much money for a Vive or an Oculus Rift is because the enormous resolution of each, because each little screen that they have for each of your eyes is like 4K or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're freaking tiny.
Yeah.
And so they're really expensive screens with enormous PPI. And they did that because the early development versions of the Rift were making people sick because the resolution wasn't high enough. And so I kind of worry that, are these like mixed reality headsets that cost less money, are they still going to have high enough resolution that people aren't going to puke when they use them? But I mean, at the same time, if you're talking augmented reality of any kind, that's going to be less of an issue because you're going to be seeing real life. And so you've got a frame of reference. It's going to make it much more difficult for you to get motion sick in that situation.
And
So-
at the same time, if you look at like other options like the Google Daydream or
Right.
Samsung's
Right.
Gear VR, those are using phone screens that
Yes.
have technically a 2K screen.
yeah.
And that's obviously a cheaper option, kind of, because, I mean, if you have the phone, the headset's cheaper.
Right. Yeah.
But, I mean, I would assume it's probably similar technology screen-wise
Right.
to that.
Yeah. Which would make sense. And
And
those,
it's a good option. I mean,
Yeah,
it
is.
you can still kind of see, like, the screen door effect that they talk about. It's not nearly as bad on the higher resolution phones like the Pixel or
right.
Pixel XL or the S8 and stuff like that. And I would assume that's probably what they're doing. Maybe even a slightly higher resolution, not necessarily 4K, but
Yeah.
better than the 1440 like
Yeah.
the normal
Well,
other
and
phones have.
and with stuff
Right.
like the Gear VR and the Daydream View, those aren't like great for hours of extended
no.
viewing time. But
well,
at the same
one,
time,
because your
they're
phone heats up, and two,
Right.
it kills your battery like
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, it's still good for a couple of minutes, and depending on what you end up using the thing for, especially again. It may just be the kind of thing where it's all like, sure, you can use this for 3D gaming. That's not necessarily the audience we're targeting with this thing. This is more for augmented reality stuff. And in that vein, having a lower resolution screen is fine.
Yeah.
Like that, whatever, that works. So it may just be that that's the kind of thing. I'm going to be interested to see what it looks like when it finally comes out. I guess there's a part of me that's still a little bitter with Microsoft for announcing this like 2 years ago, and we still don't have any. Like,
well, not a
Come
cheat.
on.
You can get a HoloLens for $3,000, a developer version.
right? Yes, the developer model.
Oh, goody.
Yeah.
And if I had the money, I would buy it.
Yeah.
Honestly, but again,
Yeah,
really
so-
expensive.
I'm going to be interested to see what it looks like when it comes out. It's just been a long time coming, and we've learned a lot about VR, especially in the time since they announced this to
Yes.
begin with. And I think that they've been able to look at what's gone on with Vive and with Oculus, and they've been able to go back to the drawing board like probably 3 or 4 times, going like, we're going to learn from that mistake, because nobody else is really pushing them in the market. You know?
Right.
Like, they announced it 2 years ago, probably
Yeah.
to pull an Apple and a Steve Jobs and just get ahead of anyone else that was making anything like that. And then Apple had to release the iPhone because otherwise they were going to come out after Android, and that would not have been good. And so
I see this also.
nobody's
It's
pushing
like
Microsoft.
Microsoft announced this obviously a while ago, and other companies come out with stuff, but other companies have only come out with basically one iteration of these things
Right.
Right.
in that time.
Yep. Yep.
So, and Microsoft, like you said, has looked at these things, seen what works and doesn't work, and is implementing those changes that they need to.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing it right.
Right.
I mean, they show what they can do, they show the possibilities, and then they make it work really well, and then they'll get out a product.
Yep.
And I mean, and I can't blame them for sitting and going, oh, this thing here is clearly not working for Oculus, so let's make sure we fix it on our side.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing here is clearly not working for the Vive, like putting
Let's fix
sensors
it.
in the room, so let's fix it on our version and that kind of thing, because nobody else is pushing them in the market.
Yeah.
The Oculus and the Vive, you're tethered to a freaking supercomputer with a big old thing that comes off of the back of your head, and
Yep.
and they're VR only.
Yeah.
So there's just like what Microsoft introduced with the HoloLens concept was, completely original, and still nobody has released or is putting anything on the market at all like it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that everyone is developing something.
Yeah, you got to know Apple and Google. I mean,
Yeah,
Google has
they're-
come out and said that AR is what their main focus
Right.
is. They're just
Yeah.
putting out VR stuff
Yep.
now because it's easier and cheaper.
Yep. And
Right.
Apple has basically said AR is the future, and we're not bothering with VR because AR is the future.
Yeah.
And so, it's like obviously everyone else is developing stuff, but because nobody's actually released anything, there's no fire under Microsoft to actually push something out before they feel like it's ready.
True.
And that's
the other,
fine.
The other
Like,
benefit
it's-
of them doing this, announcing it so early, is they can get that SDK out, and developers can develop for this.
Yep.
So once they finally do have something, there's content.
Yeah.
That's been the big issue with the Vive and the Oculus, and even Daydream View and stuff like that. There's just not a lot of content
Yeah.
yet. I mean, there's more and more coming every day, but when all these things were announced, there was very little stuff
Yeah.
to do with them.
Well, and if I'm going to be able to grab myself a $300 or $400 headset next year and be playing the 3D version of Half-Life 2 that is hopefully in the works,
my
I'll be
gosh.
all over that. Like,
I might
yeah.
be hopping on Steam again.
Heck yeah. Totally. I would do
Jeez.
that. And, I'd save a crap ton of money over buying a Vive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So there you go. If that's coming down the line, which is exciting for. I mean, like you said, it's a cheap way for us to get into this augmented reality / VR and mess, and developers to create content. So it's exciting news.
Yes. Anything else from Build
Oh,
this
yeah.
past week? I'm
So-
sure there's still a lot.
They had a big demo machine for Windows 10 on ARM.
Yes.
They didn't have a lot on ARM, obviously, but they
Now,
wanted
I was-
to mention some stuff.
I was really surprised they didn't talk at all about this during the 10S keynote the week before.
Yeah.
Because that's what I initially when they announced Windows on ARM, I initially thought, "Oh, perfect. That's what this is going to be." And when I
Yeah.
heard 10S, I was like, "Oh, that's on ARM."
That's what
And,
I
I,
thought
and when I
as
saw the
well.
Surface laptop, I'm like, "Oh, an ARM. Oh,
what?
no, that's a Core i5. What?"
Yeah.
Confused.
It was different, but it's kind of like we said. They're really pushing to make this work. Now,
Right.
the demo machine they had, it says on here, it was running a 64-bit version of Windows 10 Pro on an 8 8-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor with 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's the real Windows 10 Pro is what it was. And it functioned, it worked, and is what they said. And that's kind of as far as they got. They just showed, hey, it works. You can have it on there flawless, and it works. And so there wasn't a lot more than that. But they said it's nowhere close to being ready.
Right.
On there, and I think that's what it was. Is they're just not ready to put that out there. And with Microsoft pushing this, after we said they want it to work.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just going to be getting software that'll work well on it, because trying to get Photoshop to run on something like that it'll work. I mean, they showed it when they initially announced Windows on ARM.
Yeah.
But it's not great, and I don't think it will be for a while, because Photoshop is a very heavy application.
Yes.
And Adobe sure as heck ain't going to be changing it.
No. I would still
all.
be shocked if Adobe ever put any of their apps in the Windows Store.
Yeah.
Not that it would be difficult with what Windows has done or what Microsoft has done, because you can port your apps and have a centennial version of these apps, and they're identical basically to the downloadable versions.
Yes.
But it just takes developers to do it.
Yep.
I think it would be better for Adobe, because updates would be so much easier. That's the thing I hate about.
Yes.
Like we were talking about this before the show. Creative Cloud updates suck.
They're the worst.
They take forever to download, and it generally stops you from doing what you're doing for at least an hour.
Yeah.
And they
or
break
more.
stuff.
And they break stuff. But if you can do this just through the Windows Store and have it just seamlessly do it on its own.
Have some quality control.
Yeah. Or even scheduled updates or something like that,
It would be lovely.
It'd be fantastic.
Yes.
I think Adobe could severely benefit from this, because right now the user experience on that side of things is awful.
Yes.
So I don't see Adobe doing it. I don't know why, but that's Adobe.
Because Adobe.
But again, I hope that developers like that do this with their apps, because it would be awesome.
I think it's getting there. So,
and it would make Windows 10s much more viable of an option.
And that's what they're pushing for. So hopefully,
yeah.
Well, and if companies like Adobe aren't willing to do that, hopefully the brand of consumers that are being brought up right now are going to be so used to the concept of buying everything from a kind of unified app store front, with all of the devices that they use, that, some upstart image editing company can come up and throw a Photoshop replacement onto all of the app stores, and then people will buy that. And people will be able to get their vector image stuff from somewhere else. And eventually, Adobe will either have to adapt or go out of business. And I'd be okay with either of those things.
I noticed at the end there of go out of business. That was pretty.
I have hard feelings regarding Adobe. But yeah, I think we are training like an entire generation of consumers right now to kind of expect that, and expect that vastly improved software purchasing experience versus what we've had in the past. And I think that there's a good chance that, companies like Adobe, they're either going to have to change with the times or die. Yeah. And that's, capitalism.
Yeah.
Yay!
And, the interesting thought I had with all of this going on with Windows and everything, Apple implemented the Mac App Store years ago.
Oh, freak.
Years ago. But it has never done anything.
Nope.
Now, with Windows doing this,
maybe they'll start updating it.
That's what I'm hoping for, because, Apple always pushes security, and that's one of their big things, and that's one of the big benefits of an iPhone or a Mac desktop, or things like that, is the security. And with Windows making this push, that's the big push for the Windows Store is security and just easier to use and stuff like that. I'm hoping that Apple now sees that and like, oh, maybe we should do something with the Mac App Store.
Yeah. The thing they need to do with it is, first of all, update it with all the same features that the iOS App Store has.
Yeah.
They've been adding features to iOS App Store for years and not adding them to the Mac App Store. And just at the very basis level, can we not get those two on feature parity with each other?
Now, I think
what the heck?
Because there's, for some reason, a lot of people out there that want Mac OS to be more like iOS. I don't see a reason
Mac
for that.
OS is fine as is.
Exactly. But this would make things, I think this would temper those people down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you have the seamless updating and easy downloading and things like that,
Yep.
that would kind of make it more iOS-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the macOS gatekeeper is already there, set up in a way that you can actually make it so that you can only install and run apps from the Mac App Store.
Right.
That foundation is already in place. And so they need to update the Mac App Store, and then they need to make it easier for developers to put stuff on there, because they've been working on kind of they curate the iOS App Store a lot, and they try to make that very controlled and very nice. But they have so many people submitting apps to it that that's not really ever been a problem for them. With the Mac App Store, there are people submitting apps and that kind of thing, but not that many of them, and they still curate, and they're like really locked down on it. It's a desktop environment, okay?
Yep.
You can't lock things down to the same extent as you can your mobile OS. And I don't think they want to. They haven't shown any desire to do that. So why do you have the exact same requirements for the App Store? And in addition to the profit sharing scheme that they have set up with the Mac App Store, and the fact that you can't do upgrade versions on the Mac App Store and that kind of thing to get people to upgrade to a new version of software by giving them a discount on it if they bought the last version, and it's just a bunch of stuff like bundles. They've implemented bundles in the iOS App Store. They still can't have bundles in the Mac App Store. They've done so many things to make iOS work really well, and they've done none of that for Mac OS. And yeah, they do that. That would be lovely. And I agree. I hope that the fact that Windows is putting so much attention into their Windows Store will kind of get Apple to go, oh, hey, yeah, we made a thing. Maybe we should do something with it.
Well, all that being said, I mean, Windows or Microsoft obviously has a lot of those same implementations. There's set guidelines that you have to have on your app to be in the Windows Store, which is one reason why Chrome is not currently there.
Yes.
There's certain things that Chrome doesn't do that Windows requires.
Yep.
And it would take Google to change that.
Yep.
And it's the same, and they do have the same what's it called? They take money out of every purchase in there too.
They
so I mean, that's still going to be a thing no matter what app store you're getting things from.
For sure.
But again, if they can get developers to do it, I could see Apple trying to push it a little harder.
Yes.
And I think it'd be a great idea for them to do it.
In both cases, they just need to make sure they're being friendly with the developers.
Exactly.
And if they do that, then the developers are going to play with them.
And that's always been the thing against the Mac App Store is because developers well, I can make all the money if I do it this way instead of 70% of the money.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I get why Apple takes a cut, obviously.
Right.
And I get why Microsoft wants that.
And
I get why developers don't want that.
Right.
But with the way things have been with phones for so long, it's kind of like that's just the way it's going to be.
Yep.
And I think that the big thing is they just need to give developers more incentives to working in the App Store. Right now, there are zero incentives functionally. And if for either Apple or Microsoft, if they can give developers good incentives, then they'll play in that space. Microsoft is trying. It seems like they're trying to give developers good incentives to work there.
Well, and they're
Apple
making it
extremely
easy for developers.
Exactly.
That's one thing Windows has been pushing for at least 3 years now. They made it super easy to port iOS and Android apps over to Windows Phone. Nobody used it, but they made a software that you basically put your code in here, it will do the work for you and spit out a Windows app. And they're kind of doing the same thing with the Windows Store. You just put your code here, and it'll make a Centennial version of your app on the Windows Store, and it just works. And if Apple were to do something like that for the Mac App Store, and they may have something, I don't know.
I think the thing that annoys me most about the Mac App Store is that they don't even need to do that. All of the apps that run on Macs, they can put into the Mac App Store. Zero code changes involved. And yet Apple has made the Mac App Store so kind of developer hostile that nobody does it. The only people who seem to be willing to get on that train are the people that are already used to sharing a cut of their profits with a distributor.
It's mobile developers.
Right.
It's
mobile developers,
it's not desktop
game developers.
Yeah.
Those are the two that are really
and that's all you can find in the Mac App Store is mobile games and some other video games and stuff like that.
Yeah. Aspire games. Aspire and Feral Interactive. But it's because they're already used to sharing profits with a distributor like Steam.
Yep.
And so they're just like, whatever, I give the money to Steam, I give it to Apple, it doesn't really make a difference. I'm selling my game on as many platforms as I possibly can.
Yeah, because that just means more money.
Exactly. And, Apple has done nothing to convince other developers that are not used to that it's worth their time to be in the Mac App Store. And that frustrates me to no end. So it's good to see that Windows is paying attention, that they're doing stuff. And hopefully everyone will work toward this glorious utopian future together.
I feel
Hopefully.
like I went above Caleb's head and opened a can of worms.
I mentioned the Mac App Store.
He mentioned the Mac App Store, so it's kind of his fault.
It's kind of swayed. No, it was pretty fun to watch. Like, I was actually believe it or not, I was watching him and I was counting how many seconds between breaths. Like, it was pretty amazing. I was like, wow, he's very passionate about this.
Yes, I really am.
Hey, you know what? I hope they take some notes from Microsoft too.
Just pay attention to the Mac App Store.
Well, there's that, and then also what Google is doing. They've been working on getting Android apps to Chrome OS, and behind the scenes, nothing has been announced yet. They're working on an operating system that's kind of what Microsoft was trying to do with Windows and the phone.
Yeah.
Except Google's doing it in the opposite direction, going from the phone to the desktop, which I actually think is going to work better. And
it'll be easier for
and
sure.
a lot of the stuff that I've heard that Google is doing is recently just has come out, this Fuchsia OS, I believe, or there's some sort of kernel they're working on, can be, like, the user interface can be resized to work on anything from a 4-inch phone to a freaking 10-foot projector screen.
Oh.
And it just works.
That's cool.
And things like that, obviously is going to have an app store of some sort. Yep. And it's going to have this same implementation. So I think that's the direction that technology is going and software is going. Developers, I think, need to get on board with it. And Apple definitely needs to get on board with it on the desktop side of things.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're the ones that pushed it for smartphones.
They're all over
Why
it
they're not doing it for desktop?
Why
they started it.
Yeah.
But they haven't
really
done anything
half-hearted
with it.
effort, and they have not touched it since.
Yeah. So I'm hoping with the emphasis that Microsoft is doing, it's just going to push both Google and Microsoft and Apple to do more. And that's what I mean. Competition obviously is best for the consumer, and it's just going to be great.
It is. And that's what we've said the entire time. Is just we're excited. I'm
excited.
Like I've said, I'm. It's an interesting way for Microsoft to take it. Instead of being like, "Hey, how can we get 10% more in the phone service?" It's like, "What if we just insert our apps at other locations, everywhere else?" So
it's like this acknowledgement Microsoft is making that we don't have to sell the operating system to everyone.
Correct.
We don't have to have all the licensed operating systems. We can just sell services. Look at this. We're making lots of money with services. And
that's
they've been
what they've
slowly
done.
Working into that space.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they've done forever anyways. I mean, they had an operating system, but their main money maker was Office.
Yep.
Basically. And, all these services that they've put everywhere.
Yep. And so they're really pushing that, and I think that's awesome because, to my mind, having the latest operating system should be a function of the hardware that you have, not the amount of money that you have to upgrade your operating system every year.
Yes.
And that's what I love Apple has done with free OS upgrades for everything. Like, every time the operating system updates, your hardware can handle it, you get the update, which means you've always got the latest security patches, and that's great. And I feel like that's kind of the direction that Microsoft is moving in. Yep. It's not going to be too much longer before all their profit is coming from, services anyways. Yeah. And they'll just be like, okay, Windows updates, free now.
Well, you can see that that's what they've done. I mean, Windows 10 was a free upgrade for a year.
Yeah.
And Windows 10S, if you have it, you can get a free upgrade to Windows 10 Pro for till the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, obviously they can't do that yet fully because their money
still have
comes
to
from
make
software.
money on that stuff, yeah.
But I do see it going that direction where they're trying to make it easier and they're trying to make it cheaper for the consumer in that regards because they're making money elsewhere.
Yep. Exactly. And that's great. Like that's fantastic.
Which is awesome. And it's just that the whole thing we're talking about, they're evolving. They're evolving with the times.
Evolve or die.
They're realizing, hey, obviously, they'll still probably make some phones just for us weirdos.
They did somewhat mention a phone, not in this. Like they kind of said, it's not going to happen anytime soon, basically.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're just like, yeah.
I would be shocked if they didn't do something within 2 years, but no earlier than that.
Yeah, and it may just be just a line of phones that they'll last for another 5 years. I mean, how long has the Lumia 950s been out for? A couple of years now, so
yeah,
you'll have that. So which is fine, but it's awesome to see that they're seeing what's out there, what they can do, where their strengths are, and pushing forward and innovating in that as well.
Yeah,
as we were talking before, okay, so they're updating their store to, like Caleb over here said, was like, I hope Apple takes note of that. I hope people take note, and so it just makes everybody better. And that's what we want. Another couple things that they did have, I wanted to mention, they did have that Harman Kardon Cortana device.
Yes, that is a big thing.
Yes, they did have that there. They displayed it. Just kind of showed just more functionality with it. It's just like an Amazon Echo type thing. It's just a big speaker. But what's also kind of nice is they showed the cloud functionality with her. So like if you're talking to Cortana through the speaker, and then also showed that they've got Cortana in the car now. So if you want her in the car, it just showed just this how talking to Cortana on the speaker. Then she got into a demo car that showed Cortana in the car, and everything just synced up to what she was wanting. And it was pretty cool how they're saying the AI in the cloud, they're just trying to make it all seamless without, because I know Google has a problem right now with syncing all your assistants to think as one.
Yeah.
So I know that was a big problem. But they're getting better, obviously, because they're taking note. But then another cool feature I thought was really cool, and obviously this is for more businesses, big global businesses, was in Office. So live presentations I thought was really cool. So they had a Spanish-speaking woman up there that was giving a Spanish presentation. They had a Chinese, a guy that knew Chinese, obviously, that could read it and speak Chinese, and then they also had English. So what they did for a live presentation is the actual translation. So she gave us the woman gave a Spanish presentation in Spanish. It translated to English for the audience, and then it translated to Chinese instantly to the actual the Chinese, the guy that could speak Chinese. But then, if you had any input or wanted to say something, he would use the voice command and say something in Chinese, and it would come up Spanish to her. But then with the English people, it would come up English.
Right.
So it was instant translating for everybody. So if you're in live conferences or something like that, it was instant translation. So if you got it and you're like, oh, and I wanted to say something back or type something back, it would do that. But it would, like I said, for people that has their certain language, it would translate for them instantly.
Right. Huh.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Now, obviously, this is going to take time to roll out to more languages. Obviously.
Right. Well, they had 60 languages on it.
That's
I was going to say,
impressive
they
at launch.
probably are going to have pretty much all the languages
Yeah.
that are well supported by Bing Translate.
Yeah,
I would
that's
assume,
true.
Which
Yeah.
actually includes Klingon. So,
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
just saying.
But yeah, so just little features I thought were pretty cool that they were showing, and that was one of them that I was kind of blown away. I was like, never thought I'd use it, obviously, because where I live, obviously, but I thought that was pretty cool. So that obviously that's more for global businesses and things like that. But
that's really cool, though.
yeah, so the instant live translation I thought was cool on there. So, and they had a lot of other things that I thought were really cool, but really it was really. A lot of people wouldn't understand what I'm saying.
For the developers.
For the developers.
Rest assured, it's going to make developers like Windows, and that's good for you because they'll make better programs. So,
yep,
there you go.
that's basically what it is. It was for the developers to show them what they can do, what they can develop, and where Windows is going. And it is this AI in the cloud that they're trying to make it just a smarter cloud, smarter use of multi and cross-platform of everything, just making it easy for all. So, and that was Disneyland.
Yay!
All right.
So that was so fun. It was a lot of information. I mean, it was a couple days, a lot of presentations. But if you want to go see those things that we were talking about, it was amazing. It was cool to see. So,
and all these presentations, I believe you can rewatch, right?
Yep.
Online
probably
somewhere.
the easiest way is to go to YouTube and then just pick which one you
Yeah.
want. I mean, you could watch the full thing. That's like hours. But
There are different tech websites. I know Engadget usually does this, where you can watch every keynote in under 14, 15,
Yeah, it's
whatever,
like
however many
highlights.
minutes, and it shows all the main
Yes.
talking points
The takeaways.
and some like short versions of the demos, And it takes a 2-hour keynote and cuts it down to 15 or less
Yeah.
minutes, which
Cuts
is
out
really
all the
nice.
Steve Ballmer dance numbers.
Well, thank goodness he's not there anymore. Again, if you haven't seen that video,
Please.
Still, yes,
go look
do
it
that.
up because it's terrifying and fantastic at the same time. All right, that's everything then, right?
That is it for me.
I
Awesome.
think so. We did well.
Well, cool. So, like I said, this week was all about Microsoft. Next
That's 2 weeks, actually.
That's true. Last 2 weeks, the Microsoft has done a lot the past couple weeks.
So I may not have very much news for a while.
Yeah, and there's going to be more coming out with this stuff that they've talked about, obviously, and more coming out until the fall creators update. So
E3 too,
and E3 is going to be big, and that's going to be in a couple weeks.
Oh, so
This
exciting.
current week, as of Wednesday, is when Google I/O starts. So our podcast next week will be a lot of Google stuff. And again, this is a developer conference, so there's going to be some stuff we may not mention because it's geared towards developers. But there's also going to be a lot of stuff talked about with the new Android O update that's going to be coming this fall, and a lot of features that are coming with that. And there's just going to be a lot of cool stuff. So I'm excited. And then also WWDC coming at the beginning of June.
Yep,
Always
couple
going to be
weeks.
always good.
Actually, pretty much the exact same time as E3, which is always kind of annoying. It's like
Yeah, it's
Oh,
true.
wow, that's gonna
they
be a lot
tend
of
to
news.
overlap a little bit, and I'm like,
It's
please no.
it's going to be a long
Overload.
episode. We may have to make
Overload.
two.
Yeah, we might.
An Apple episode
We'll
and
do
a
a gaming
episode.
episode. Yeah, that's,
Seriously.
that's honestly probably a really good idea.
That may be what we have to do. But I mean, I love this time of year because of this. Some people they like looking at hardware announcements, stuff like that. I love the developer stuff. I'm not a developer myself, but I like learning about this stuff. So
It's
for
fun
me,
to
it's
see
really
what's
cool.
coming.
Yeah,
like
Like-
a shower head that you can control.
yeah.
I know that was way back,
old
but
Well, I
Yes.
saw. Speaking of that, I saw a commercial. I don't know what company it was, but it was like saying all this stuff where you can access this and this and this from like your washing machine or your fridge, or it's like, why do I need that on my fridge or my washing machine? I mean, it's cool that there's an option, but why? Why do I need that?
You really got to think that why through before you release a product, guys. Just
I
say it.
there, I
kind
don't
of
know.
understand the fridge because it's kind of a central thing
It's
for
true.
everyone.
It's usually
Everyone
pretty
needs
much in
food.
the middle of the house.
And generally, a lot of people will have like a whiteboard or something on their fridge that they write notes
Yep.
on. We do.
yeah,
Why not put a screen there that you can?
Yeah,
and I know
fair enough.
Microsoft has been working on this
Fair
with the
enough.
Home Hub.
yes.
So, I mean,
The washing machine, though, that's
Yeah,
usually
that-
in a closet or in the basement or like
far away
Yeah,
from
nobody-
people.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
just- anyways,
Who knows?
technology. It's going to be everywhere, unfortunately.
Speaking of which, I wanted to say I can't remember if I had mentioned it or not, but Comcast might be giving out cell phone service.
I think I did hear about this.
Did I-
Just
did
an
I mention
MVNO. I don't know if you mentioned it, but I think I heard about it. It's
Oh.
just like an MVNO, kind of like what
Yeah.
Boost Mobile and things like that are. It's
But you can bundle it with if you are with Comcast, but you can have that.
Yeah.
Thought it
I
was-
could see them doing this as something to go again or compete with like AT&T and DirecTV because AT&T owns DirecTV. They make bundles with DirecTV and your cell service and stuff like that.
correct.
So I could see them doing it for those purposes. Who knows? I don't know.
You know what else I'm sad about? I want to mention.
Uh-oh.
Guess what sitcom they canceled?
Last Man Standing.
Yes.
Yep.
So sad. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I could
Have
go
you
on
even
for
seen
a
that,
while
Caleb?
on this one.
Nope.
What?
No?
It's
A
hilarious.
Tim Allen
Oh,
fan?
boy.
Come
Oh
on.
boy.
Okay,
Dude,
a
it's
Tim
on
Allen
Netflix.
fan. I'm a Tim Allen fan to the extent that like the '90s had Home Improvement in them. That's really about.
Basically,
the
okay, think of
extent
this.
of it.
Think of this. Last Man Standing is just Home Improvement, but instead of 3 boys, it's 3 girls.
And it's
And
I think it's funnier.
it's hilarious.
I have too many funny shows to watch right now.
It's
guys.
on Netflix. The first
Yeah.
5 seasons
Make it
are on
happen.
Yeah,
Netflix.
but so is How I Met Your Mother. So I'm like right.
Go back and forth.
Oh.
I did that with
I've got
like
so many
3
shows to
different
watch.
TV shows at
Oh,
one
I know.
point.
There's so many.
Anyways, I could go on about this
could.
for
Okay,
a long
we
time.
could.
No,
Sorry.
no TV podcast. We're just-
Yeah, we'll that'll be for some other thing. Anyways, that's I believe all we have for this
Yes.
week.
I'll keep my
Yes,
mouth
it
shut.
is.
We'll just end there, I guess. So
Thank you, everybody.
thank you for listening, and we will be back next week with lots of Google stuff.
Be prepared.
Yep.
I could go on sing that if you want.
No.
Be prepared.
We're good.
No.
Should I close it out with Mickey?
You do what you
You
want.
know you want me to.
You
I'm not
do
going to
you,
stop
Wes.
you.
You do you.
You do you. Bye, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.